ASVAB Mechanical Comprehension Practice Test. Question 1. Which of the following is the basis for Pascal's law? The amplification of force in a hydraulic system. The relationship between force and volume of a liquid. The definition of pressure as pounds per square inch. The manner in which liquids conform to their container. The correct answer is A. The third principle of hydraulics is the basis for Pascal's law and states that when pressure is applied to a fluid, the pressure is transmitted evenly throughout. In other words, how force is amplified within a hydraulic system. Question 2. An 80-pound child is sitting on one end of a seesaw. If another 80-pound child jumps from a high platform onto the other end of the seesaw, what will happen? The first child will stay stationary on the ground. The second child will bounce off the seesaw into the air. The first child will bounce off the seesaw into the air. The first child will be lifted into the air, but remain seated. The correct answer is D. The force of the second child landing on the seesaw will propel the other end of the seesaw into the air. Question 3. What is a vector quantity? Gravity, magnitude, volume, mass. The correct answer is A. Gravity is a type of force, and since force has magnitude and direction, it is known as a vector quantity. Question 4. Which of the following describes the relationship between kinetic energy, mass, and velocity? Q equals 1/2 mv. 1/3, Q equals m/v. 2, Q equals mv. 3, Q equals mv. The correct answer is C. An object's kinetic energy is defined as Q equals 1/2 mv. Reorienting, we find 2Q equals mv. Question 5. 1 horsepower is equivalent to 724 watts, 746 watts, 768 watts, 782 watts. The correct answer is B. Horsepower is a unit used to rate internal combustion engines. 1 horsepower is the equivalent of 746 watts. Question 6. At minimum, how many pulleys are there in a block and tackle system? 1, 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is B. The block and tackle pulley system requires at least 2 or more pulleys. The bare minimum for this system is 2. Question 7. When torque increases, speed remains the same. Increases, then decreases. Increases, decreases. The correct answer is D. The quantities of torque and speed are inversely proportional. When one increases, the other decreases. Question 8. If a wedge is made longer relative to its height, how does the force increase? The amount of lift is decreased as the wedge is moved horizontally. The amount of lift is increased as the wedge is moved horizontally. The amount of lift is decreased as the wedge is moved vertically. The amount of lift is increased as the wedge is moved vertically. The correct answer is A. When the distance of a lift is the same as the distance the initial force travels, the force in will equal the force out. Making the wedge longer relative to its height, less slope, will change this by decreasing the amount of lift that takes place as the wedge is moved horizontally. Question 9. If a man uses 200 N of force over a distance of 50 meters, how many joules of work are performed? 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. The correct answer is C. Work is defined as the product of force and the direction of displacement. Here a force of 200 N is used over a displacement of 50 m. Consequently, the work performed is 200 N * 50 m equals 10,000 J. Question 10. What is a component of potential energy? Upward reactive force, the energy of movement, gravity's relationship to mass, newtons and distance. The correct answer is C. An object's potential energy is equal to its mass times its acceleration due to gravity times its height, or P equals mgh. Question 11. A fish tank at an aquarium contains several cubic feet of water. 1 cubic foot of water equals 62.5 pounds. If the fish tank is 6 feet deep, 12 feet wide, and 13 feet long, What's the approximate pressure at the bottom of the tank in pounds per square inch? 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5. The correct answer is B. To find the pressure, psi, we must divide the tank's total volume by the surface area of the bottom of the tank. The volume equals 6 times 12 times 13 equals 936 feet. Multiply it by 62.5 to convert it into pounds. 936 times 62.5 equals 58,500.